isolated. There's a lot of residents in there who say they need boots on the ground now. How quickly can people get to
That's
them?
exactly what we're providing to them, whether it be through ADF, some of the clean-up arrangements I've just spoken to, road repairs. Getting access, getting people into some of these communities is very, very challenging. I spoke with Peter Walsh, I rang him yesterday and went through some of those issues with him, and there were some very practical suggestions that were made. We've followed up on those already. My office has been in constant contact with each of the affected MPs, but I thought I'd ring Peter myself yesterday just again to ask, have you got everything you need? He was in Rochie at the time, and I think we've actioned a few of the things that he had provided feedback. So look, every community will have things that they need, and our job is just to methodically work through with a sense of urgency, but it has to be safe as well. We've got to be careful to be sending people in. It's got to be safe to do that. But as soon as we can get in, as soon as we can be there to support every single person who's been touched by this, we will. And that work has already started as we chase those floodwaters as they recede. Noting, of course, and I can't overstate this, there is another challenge coming later this week. And I'll let the Bureau do the forecasting, but there are significant predictions of other rainfall events. And given, as I said the other day, we started last Wednesday, ground was sodden, catchments were full, then we've had a massive rain event. So that's our starting point now. We've still got the Murray to peak, we've got a number of communities that haven't peaked yet, and we're going to get more rain off that higher base. So that's going to present really significant challenges. I don't think there's any limiting factor. I want to thank the ADF for the work they're doing already. There's a new arrangement in place in relation to local ADF personnel, whether that be in the northeast or indeed over towards Seymour. But again, I think there was more than a few ADF personnel who wanted to come from Puckapunyal to help Seymour but couldn't get there. I think Bandiana have been providing support for the northeast as well. That's a local arrangement. It doesn't go through that request for assistance process that we do more formally. I want to thank every single member of the ADF who's out there working hard, and I'm very confident that part of that strong partnership with the Commonwealth Government will get the ADF support that we need, and they'll do us proud, just as our emergency services do.
Yeah, just on the third goal, do you anticipate them to be targeting financial support for farmers?
A little bit early to say that, but again, as I said before, we will stand with every sector, every business, every household, every local council who's been impacted by this. I know it's very frustrating that it takes time to make the proper assessments, but you have to do that. And of course, it's very difficult to know exactly how much damage has been done until we see these waters subside. And this is a little bit different to other flood events in that its record, in terms of the magnitude of it, is bigger. But also it's a kind of a rolling flood event as well. We're going to see more and more rainfall, so that presents a unique challenge as well. But as soon as we can make assessments, just as we have done with roads, as I said before, there's been more than 500 detailed inspections. Crews are out on the ground day and night and have been from the moment it was safe to do that. We'll have more and more information. Cabinet committees meeting every single day, lengthy meetings going through the full list. All of our departments and agencies are working as one. And indeed the Commonwealth Government's working very closely with us too.
You mentioned the company Johns Lyng has been appointed to
help
with the clean-up. Obviously it's a pretty urgent set of circumstances and possibly the normal competitive tender arrangements weren't able to happen, but what was the basis for choosing them rather than someone else?
Sure, so we have a panel and that panel's been stood up, so there's some pre-approval processes if you like, and I would say that company has got both track record and experience working with storm damage and fire for us, and in a more contemporary sense have worked on the New South Wales floods. So they have the absolute, they are expert in doing this work. They're not the only company. There'll be other companies and there'll be subcontract arrangements as well, and we'll work with local councils and we'll have more to say about different elements of that clean-up package. But the first step is to register. We want to have trucks rolling debris off people's nature strips as fast as we can, out of streets as well. And we will, as I said, we'll chase those floodwaters as they recede to provide, in the first instance, emergency relief, then clean up, and then there'll be a big rebuild process as well. But we'll stand with every one of those communities because that's exactly what we need to do.